1. Texas flooding, death toll rises to 104, 10 Camp Mystic girls still missing. 2. Why the Guadalupe River flooded so fast, exploring Texas, flash flood alley. 1. Texas flooding, death toll rises to 104, 10 Camp Mystic girls still missing. Texas flooding, over 100 lives lost, 10 girls still missing. Kerrville, Texas, the death toll from the July 4th weekend flooding in central Texas has now reached 104, with 10 girls from Camp Mystic still unaccounted for. This tragedy has left thousands displaced and families grappling with the aftermath of a relentless storm that battered the region. While officials have reported rescuing over 850 people, the full extent of the disaster remains unclear. Here's where it gets controversial. The exact number of fatalities in Kerr County is still under investigation, and some experts argue the official tally may underestimate the true impact of the flood. But here's where it gets even more complicated. The state's emergency management agencies are struggling to coordinate responses across multiple counties, with conflicting reports about the severity of the damage. And this is the part most people miss: the floodwaters not only destroyed homes but also disrupted critical infrastructure, leaving communities isolated and vulnerable. Controversy alert *: is the government providing adequate support to those affected, or is the response hampered by bureaucratic delays? Some critics argue that federal aid is too slow, while others praise the speed of local rescue efforts. Meanwhile, the search for the missing girls has become a focal point, with authorities using drones and ground teams to track their whereabouts. The emotional toll on families is undeniable, and many are left wondering how long it will take to find closure. Key takeaway *: the flood has exposed deep-seated issues in disaster preparedness, from inadequate drainage systems to the lack of unified communication between counties. As the situation evolves, the debate over transparency and accountability will likely dominate public discourse. Will Texas learn its lessons, or will this disaster become another chapter in a cycle of mismanagement? Updates. 7:29 p.m. * Search efforts continue in Kerr County, with officials confirming 84 deaths, 56 adults, 28 children, and 10 campers and 1 counselor still missing. 5:35 p.m. * Travis County reports 7 deaths and 10 unaccounted for, while Williamson County sees 2 deaths and 1 missing. 2:42 p.m. * Burnett County search for the fire chief has expanded to remote areas, with helicopter searches and drone operations. 10:00 a.m. * Local authorities warn drivers to avoid low-water crossings and use major roads, emphasizing the risks posed by flooded highways. Featured insight * The flood's impact on rural communities like Burnett and Bell counties highlights the vulnerability of smaller towns to extreme weather. Experts warn that climate change is increasing the frequency of such events, urging policymakers to invest in resilient infrastructure. Call to action * If you're in Texas, consider volunteering with local nonprofits or donating to relief efforts. Your support can make a difference in the recovery process. For real-time updates, follow official channels and stay informed about the evolving situation. As the storm's remnants fade, the question remains: will Texas rise to the challenge, or will this disaster redefine its approach to disaster response? The answer lies in the hands of those who prioritize compassion, coordination, and preparedness. 2. Why the Guadalupe River flooded so fast, exploring Texas, flash flood alley. When disaster strikes in minutes, the shocking truth behind the Guadalupe River flood. Imagine waking up to find a peaceful river transformed into a raging torrent in less than an hour. That's exactly what happened along the Guadalupe River in Texas, and the speed and scale of the disaster left even seasoned locals stunned. But here's where it gets controversial: was this catastrophe truly unpredictable, or are there warning signs we keep ignoring? Let's break down what really happened, why the Guadalupe River is so prone to flash flooding, and what makes this region, infamously known as Flash Flood Alley, one of the most dangerous places for sudden floods in the United States. Where is the Guadalupe River, and why does it matter? The Guadalupe River is a lifeline for central and south-central Texas, winding its way for about 250 miles from its origins in Kerr County. It begins as 2 spring-fed branches, the North and South Forks, before merging and flowing east through Kendall and Comal counties. Eventually, it turns south, making its way to the Gulf of Mexico. This river isn't just a scenic spot for tubing and fishing, it's the 4th largest river basin entirely within Texas, draining a vast area from the Texas Hill Country all the way to San Antonio Bay. How bad was the flooding? Over the recent holiday weekend, the Guadalupe River became the epicenter of a devastating flood event that claimed more than 80 lives, including over 24 children at Camp Mystic. The numbers are staggering. In just 45 minutes, the river surged upward by 26 feet. To put that in perspective, that's like watching a two-story building rise out of the water in less than an hour. The U.S. Geological Survey, which has tracked floods here since the late 1970s, recorded the river's flow peaking at an astonishing 111,000 cubic feet per second, one of the highest rates ever seen in this region. What makes Flash Flood Alley so dangerous? And this is the part most people miss: the Guadalupe River sits in the heart of what meteorologists call Flash Flood Alley. This isn't just a catchy nickname, it's a 300-mile-long, 50-mile-wide corridor stretching from north of Dallas down past San Antonio, notorious for its deadly floods. But why is this area so uniquely vulnerable? Several factors combine to create a perfect storm. Extreme rainfall *. The region is a battleground where cold, dry air from the north collides with warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. When these air masses meet, they can unleash torrential downpours in a matter of hours. Rocky, impermeable soil *. Much of the land here is underlain by limestone, which doesn't absorb water well. Instead of soaking in, rainwater races across the surface, funneling rapidly into rivers and low-lying areas. Steep, rugged terrain *. The Balcones Escarpment, a dramatic series of cliffs and hills formed by ancient fault lines, forces water to rush downhill at breakneck speed, amplifying the risk of flash floods. A tragedy that raises tough questions. The 2025 Independence Day flood is now one of the deadliest in Texas history. But here's the controversial question: with all we know about the risks in Flash Flood Alley, are we doing enough to protect people who live, work, and play along these rivers? Should there be stricter regulations for camps and communities in flood-prone zones, or is this just the price of living in such a beautiful but volatile landscape? We want to hear from you. Do you think more could have been done to prevent this tragedy, or are these floods simply acts of nature beyond our control? Share your thoughts, experiences, or even disagreements in the comments below. Let's start a real conversation about how we can make our communities safer in the face of nature's fury.